Hi my darlings, welcome back. So today we are using the Jaclyn Hill palette with Morphe brushes to create this green smoky eye look. I think this look is so appropriate now that fall is just around the corner. It feels so sad to say that because summer is basically over and the weather wasn't that great. It was like rainy McRainy pants and it was raining all the time, but now fall is here, so it's time to get out those fall looks. It's time to get out those fall colors and start doing these really nice smoky eyes with plums and greens and yellows and oranges and all that fun stuff. So this is the look that I came up with the palette. I hope you guys really enjoy it, and if you want to know how I got this look, then please keep watching. So the first thing I'm doing is obviously priming my eyelids. I'm using the Urban Decay primer potion in the original formula, and then I'm blending it out with my mini beauty blender. Now to set that in place before I go in with the eyeshadow, I am going to be using a powder. I'm using my Ben Nye banana powder. Usually I use eyeshadow that is closest to my skin tone, but I actually couldn't find it when I was filming this tutorial, and that's why I'm using the Ben Nye banana powder. And this is just a clip of what it looks like for those of you who are interested. So next I'm going in to the Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm picking up this beautiful brown color that's very similar to my skin tone, but has a little bit more of a different pigment compared to my own skin tone, and I'm placing that in the crease of my eyelid. I'm going to leave all the names of all the products I use down below in the description box, so don't worry if I don't say them or if you miss them. You can just check that out when the video is done. So as you can see, I'm just going back and forth in windshield wiper motions. I am going in little circles. I'm just blending up this color. This is our transition color, and we want to make sure it's nicely blended before we go on to the other color. Now going into this beautiful dark green color, I'm picking that up on a thinner brush and I'm placing that in the crease of my eye. I want to make sure that even though I am going to blend this out, I don't want to blend it above my crease or above that transition color. You still want that transition color to kind of peek through because it's going to provide a really nice gradient effect. So once I place it with that thinner brush, I'm going back in with the original brush I used to place the transition color on my eyelid, and I'm blending everything out. I want to make sure this is nicely blended before I go on to the next step, which is to bring the same dark green color onto my eyelid. Now you don't necessarily have to bring it onto your eyelid, but the reason that I did was because I felt it added a lot more intensity and depth when you're adding the shimmer green shadow on top after. So once I placed it onto my eyelid, I go back in with that first original brush that we used, and I'm blending everything out to make sure that there are no harsh lines and everything looks seamless and blended. You guys know the drill. You never want to look like your eyeshadow is not blended. Now going into the palette again, I'm picking up this beautiful shimmer shadow. You can use your finger to apply this, but I used a synthetic brush and it worked just fine. And if you wanted it to be even more intense than what I have on my eyelids, you can definitely spray this with like a Fix Plus spray or any type of liquid spray, and that would work to really help just bring a lot of light and a lot of shimmer into this shadow. Next up is eyeliner, and I'm applying this to my waterline and my tightline. I'm using the Maybelline KAJAL eye pencil, and then I'm going to go in with my TWEEZERMAN eyelash curler to curl my top lashes, and I'm going to prep my lashes for my falsies that I'm going to put on in a little bit. So I'm using the BUXOM custom lash mascara on both my top lashes, just making sure to really get in there and work the product onto my lashes so they're nicely prepped for when I'm going to go and put on falsies. You're always going to get some type of fallout when you're doing your eyeshadow, and that's why I like to do my eyes first. So before we move on to the face, I'm just using a makeup remover wipe to clean underneath my eye area to just get rid of any shadow that might have fallen onto my face. So I'm going in with a sunscreen because this is still summer technically and the sun is still out, and I wanted to make sure my skin was properly protected. I'm using the Josie Maran Argan Oil Sunscreen Moisturizer, and then I'm using my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Foundation, and I'm using my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge to blend all of that out. As you can see, I just dotted it on my face first, and then I went in later and I pounced it all into my face. No swiping. You guys know the rules for when you're using beauty blenders. So next I'm going to go in, and I've been doing this a lot lately in my videos where I haven't been using a concealer per se, but I've been using a foundation that's lighter than my skin tone to really highlight my face. And this time I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm using the Bobbi Brown foundation stick in the color Golden Honey. I'm placing that in all the places I would use concealer. So I'm basically using this foundation exactly like I would use the concealer. I find that it gives a really natural contour to the skin, but it's really intense still, and it doesn't really look like you're wearing extra layers of makeup because the foundation really works nicely into the skin. So this is a step that I love to do, and this is something I've been doing lately with my full face coverage routine. So once I've done blending that out with my Real Technique sponge, I am going to set it. I still set it the same way you would set a concealer. So I'm going in and I'm using my banana powder from Ben Nye again on a different sponge this time, and I'm just placing it underneath my eye area mostly because that's where I don't want any of the creasing. And then what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll apply it to other parts that I highlighted, like the tops of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, a little bit on my chin, and then I'll quickly clean up the bottom jawline area so that my contour looks very sleek and cut and my face looks a lot skinnier. So now for contour, I'm also using a foundation. I'm using the Bobbi Brown foundation stick in the color Espresso, and I'm placing that a thin line just from my ear down, and then the rest of the product that's left on the brush, I'm going to place that around my nose and then on the tip of my nose as well to make sure I get that overall contoured look in my nose. Then I'm going to go in with my Sephora contour brush, and now I'm just going back and forth. I am going to do a 3 as well, just bringing it up towards my forehead. Now, if you have a forehead that's around the same size as me, you don't necessarily need to do this. I have such a small forehead that contouring my forehead would actually do more harm than good. But if you do have a larger forehead, this is something you would definitely want to do because it will help just add symmetry to your face, and it'll help make everything look a lot more even. Sometimes what I'll do is whatever's left on my brush, I'll just bring to the top just to blend everything out so my face looks one color and nicely blended, and it doesn't look as fake and it looks more natural than possible. So once that's blended out, I'm going in with another brush and I'm just wiping away all of the excess powder that I left baking on my skin. And you guys know what I do every time I finish powdering. I always spray my face with some type of setting spray or some type of any type of liquid spray just so that I get warmth and everything melts together and my foundation and my full face looks very blended. So now I'm going in with blush. I'm using my Estee Lauder Michael Kors blush, and I'm using this on Mint brush number 42, I think. I can't remember the number, but I'll be sure to leave it in the description box below. Once I'm done applying blush to my skin, I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure that my lips are nicely lined. I'm using one of my favorite nude lip combinations. I can't tell you guys how much I love this combination. I actually have a video on some of my favorite nude lips for brown skin. I'm going to do an updated one too because that one's pretty old, and honestly I didn't really do that good of a job filming it. It's kind of blurry. But this is going to be on there, but I'll also leave it in the description box below. So I'm putting my lipstick on, and then now I'm just going to put mascara on my bottom lashes. And I'm going on top of my lips now with Bow and Arrow liquid lipstick from Kat Von D. I do want to mention that I also put that darker green eyeshadow on my lower lash line. I don't have a clip of that, but I did this right after I did the mascara. And then final spray, because you guys know the drill, always spray to make sure everything looks nice and glowy. And that's it, guys. This is the final look. I hope you guys really enjoy this look. I think it's so perfect for the season that's coming up. I have all my social media links in the description box down below, and I can't wait to hear from you guys. Make sure to tweet me, Facebook me, Instagram me. You guys know the drill. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Don't ever forget you are so beautiful. Bye, guys!